What's up, you beautiful Redditors? Hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday. Welcome to the RNEWS morning show. And let's just jump into it. From r/politics, anonymous source tells Times reported on Jr. is worried his father will lose and whole family will be prosecuted. Weird. I'm not afraid my family will be prosecuted. For some reason. I wonder what the difference is. I'm looking around my house, too. Oddly enough, I'm not afraid of anyone getting prosecuted here either. Probably because years of watching Dexter and CSI Miami have taught you what mistakes to avoid when disposing the bodies. I mean, what did they expect anyways? Trump was going to have to leave office after 2 terms anyways. Like, how long did they expect to get away with what they've been doing? They probably expected not to get caught. They've had no repercussions for their entire lives. It's because the liberals are out to get them. They're just manufacturing crime. It's because we do so much investigating. If we didn't investigate, our crime numbers would be way better. I mean, this dude was referred to the DOJ for prosecution and was only spared because of who his daddy is. So he's right. Well, that and Barr is an absolute piece of crap. It is what it is. I don't really care, do you? What a feel-good story. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/politics, Melania Trump reportedly taped making disparaging remarks about President and his children. I hate every single one of these motherfrickers. Agreed. The amount of loathing I have for most of Trump's outweighs virtually anything else. See Barron trying to stay out of the limelight as a non-horrible Trump. Until proven otherwise. Yeah, when I see people bashing Barron, it's a bit frustrating. He hasn't done anything wrong. He's only like 14, isn't he? That's extremely fricked up. Frick the Trumps, but he doesn't deserve any hate at this point. It's like the Palins. I did not like it when people bash their kids, but then when their daughter got knocked up out of wedlock and went on to become an advocate for abstinence, then she became deserving of criticism. Barron and Tiffany were off limits since they're not part of the campaign. Although looks like Tiffany is going to speak at the convention, so she's about to get lit up. Fingers crossed she goes off script and just trashes the whole family as racists and grifters in the middle of the convention. But, more likely, she's now acutely aware of the possibility that her Trump lifestyle could come to an abrupt end if he loses the election, and so will toe the line. It seems trivial, but I just can't believe she freaking decimated Jackie Kennedy's Rose Garden. What? JFC. Twitter.com. That's gotta be the second worst thing to happen to Jackie Kennedy. Lordy, there's taped. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/news. Man who believed virus was hoax loses wife to COVID-19. We thought the government was using it to distract us, Brian explained. Or it was to do with 5G. I just don't get this line of thinking. Did they believe that every other country was just playing along? Or did they believe the US government was faking the stats of other countries' fatalities? I've heard people feel they have no control over the world around them and are insecure about that. Along with current distrust in general with the government. So resort to conspiracy theories because the feeling of enlightenment that they know the truth makes them feel they have more power and control over the situation than they had before. What I find funny about this line of thinking is that folks often simultaneously think the government has a massively complicated, sophisticated conspiracy meant to distract people from an obvious truth, and also the government is inept and unable to efficiently run anything more complex than a lemonade stand. That's one of the core tenets of fascism. The enemy is simultaneously incredibly dangerous and pathetically weak. I'm sure they didn't consider any of that at all. There are other countries, I haven't even left my state. Quote, going to other countries is just like going to the grocery store. They got Mexican food, Italian food, Chinese food, that's all you need. Florida, pastor in Facebook, there's really nothing left to say. Thoughts and prayers. Next, he's going to accuse his wife of being a crisis actor. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/news. University of Alabama reports over 500 cases of COVID-19. More than all of Canada today. Attaboy buddies. Edit. Thanks for the updates and awards. I just want Americans, particularly in red states, to understand how not normal this is. The real tragedy is South Korea. They had it under control, until a conservative church over there fricked it up. There's a clear pattern in the problems of the world. Are you crapping me? I just looked it up. 502 cases in all of Canada today. From here, en.m.wikipedia.org. You can't do that. We had 751 today. Not today. Alberta and BC don't report over the weekend. Does the virus get the weekend off in those provinces? I can't believe the thing the experts kept telling us would happen. Happened. Could the Facebook memes be wrong? Single quote. No, it tests the virus that is wrong. Face with raised eyebrow. Well, this would be humorous if it weren't so serious and these people weren't spreading the virus to all the other people who will spread it as well. Great job opening up the schools there, fellas. United States, reaching herd immunity one university at a time. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/World News. New Zealand Māori tribe has announced a $1.5 million distribution to its 3,000 members during COVID-19 and has delivered free universal health insurance to all whānau. Does New Zealand not have free healthcare? I'm middle class, and I choose to not insure and have found the public healthcare system to be excellent. Got my foot reconstructed after a bad accident, and even got a deviated septum fixed all for free amongst plenty of other stuff. The top specialists and machines tend to work and be in the major public hospitals anyway. Due to the prestige and economies of scale, private healthcare is really about the non-outcome dependent trimmings, like nicer rooms, or at least it should be. My parents insure. I think it's about status to them. That's exactly what they talk about when they've needed healthcare. How nice the buildings are, food is, etc. They do get quicker access to. I think it also depends on the area. You in affluent areas have nicer public care. If it's more serious, they'll move you to a bigger city hospital. Broke my foot in Rotorua, had surgery in Auckland at Middlemore, considered the second-rate hospital in the city. Outcome was better than expected. For my nose surgery, ACC paid for it at a private hospital. NZ rocks. Stop guys, as a lower middle class American, reading your guys' comments is giving me depression that my healthcare system won't help me cope with. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/World News. Africa to be declared free of wild polio after decades of work. Great news. Polio might become a second, after smallpox, disease completely eradicated thanks to vaccines. From 1988 to 2018, number of recorded cases fallen from 350,000 to 33. Out of 3 strains of polio, 2 are already extinct. Just a bit more and polio will be a history. Edit. Sorry, Rinderpest was the second. The anti-vaxxers better not frick this up. You can find plenty of anti-vax nuttery around polio, all over Facebook and similar dens of willful ignorance. Basically the argument is that it is extremely rare in the West, so you don't need to vaccinate for it. And most of the time polio infections are mild, so not that big a deal, so you wouldn't need to vaccinate for it even if it were very prevalent. Completely ignores developing countries and that small percent of patients who end up needing respiratory support, aka the iron lung, for life. Was just about to say the US is on a U-turn to become a major source of preventable diseases. This is a momentous step. The world owes Bill Gates some gratitude for pushing the money in, and the thousands of volunteers who have made it reality by administering vaccinations. Sometimes against the wishes of local warlords, always against the wishes of Facebook anti-vax mums. And that's where we're going to end today's show. But if you like what you saw, leave a like, and if you want to see more of the RNEWS show, hit that subscribe button. As always, this has been the RNEWS show and I'll see you tomorrow.